This is the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Conway as Norman Harrington.
There are moments in people's lives so shocking, so filled with anguish and emotion, that they become milestones. Such a moment has occurred in the Schuster house only a short while ago. And, as a result, the lives and future of Doris and David Schuster will be strongly affected by it. For Doris, the moment when her daughter Kim broke her long silence marked the beginning of a new experience, one which she will not be able to share with David.
Is she all right?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. I just felt a bit faint. I'm sorry.
How's Kim?
She, let me put her to bed. She's so frightened. She let me hold her for a while like she used to when she was little. It's so strange, David. We waited all these months for her to say something. And then the first words that she says are something that we should have let her forget. Allison, we should never have listened to you.
Honey, Allison, it's not your fault. You did what you had to do.
Mrs. Schuster, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about Kim. I realize how difficult it must be for her, for you. But you must realize that I had to ask. For Rodney's sake, I had to. I had to. It's wet. I don't know what to do with it.
Allison, listen to me. We understand how you feel. We're very sorry. You couldn't help it if Kim couldn't say what you wanted her to say.
Rodney did not kill Joe Chernick. It had to be a mistake. Rodney couldn't kill anybody. Sorry for coming here. What will happen now?
I'm afraid we'll have to tell the police what Kim said. What a nightmare. Poor girl, she was so sure that she was going to clear Rod. Now she feels that we've damned him.
David, your concern for Allison and her young man is very touching, but Kim is just a child. She's deaf. It's only her word.
Yes, she is a child, and she is deaf. But apparently she's witnessed this boy's death. If what she said is true, Rodney may have killed him. The law could make a lot out of that.
Well, the law doesn't have to know. David, I'm not going to have anybody else asking my child any more questions.
Darling, you know that we have no alternative.
No, I don't know anything of the kind. David, we're talking about our child. I don't want her to be taken to a courtroom full of strangers. They'll put her on the witness stand, and some insistent lawyer will make her go over the whole thing all over again. David, haven't we done enough to her already?
Darling, listen to me. Kim is alive. We have a future with her. We have a chance to make up our mistakes with her, and we will. But that boy is dead. They'll never see him again. We owe them the truth.
But there's only one truth for Mrs. Chernick. Her son is dead. Nothing else matters to her. You don't understand that, but I know. David.
to talk to Kim again.
No, wait a minute. I hate to reduce it to this. That boy that Kim is accusing. I think you've forgotten something. He's Martin Peyton's grandson.
Mr. Chernak, we have to get this release signed before we can have your son.
I got to sign.
Yes.
Where?
Well, you can come in my office if you'd like.
Now, just show me where I sign.
Where is it?
That's all?
Yes.
And now he's dead.
If there's anything I can do to help,
Help?
with the arrangements.
I can take care of it. I brought Joey home from this hospital once before. When he was born. I remember handing out the cigars. He had everything ahead of him then. Until that good boy, the good boy from the fine family, that Rodney Harrington.
Mr. Chernak.
He killed my Joe. He murdered him and ran. Did you know that? He ran and hid. The police had to come. They had to drag him out like a rat from a hole. Why do you shake your head? You don't like to hear this?
No, that's not the way it happened.
Were you there?
I didn't have to be. I know Rodney.
You know him for what he is. You know the way he treated you. The whole town knows.
All right, let's go, Mr. Chernak. I know how you feel, but there's no use of you to take it out on Miss Anderson.
Miss Anderson should be on my side. What have you got to be afraid of? The Papa Rat is no longer king in Peyton Place. His son can be punished like the son of any man.
Not for what he hasn't done.
Why do you make excuses for him? He wiped his shoes on you, the way the Harringtons have always wiped their shoes on the whole town. Ever since Leslie Harrington pushed his way to the top by marrying Peyton's daughter.
Whatever Mr. Harrington has done, whatever you think he's done, that still doesn't make his son a murderer.
And what was the mother? He comes from bad blood. Bad blood on both sides, that fine ex-husband of yours.
Mr. Chernak, this isn't
The father finished me as a man. The son killed my son.
You don't know that.
They got away with murder once. They won't get away with murder again.
Miss Chernak? Mr. Courtney stepped out for a sec. He'll be back in a minute. Do you want a cup of coffee? Cream?
Rita, I'm sorry about the way I talked to you last night. I didn't mean to cut you off like that.
Well, I understand. And I want to tell you something. That I stopped going with your brother a long time ago, and he just couldn't realize that it was finished. I mean,
Forget it. It's a closed book. Dr. Rossi gave me this prescription. It's a sedative for my mother.
It'll take a few minutes, miss.
Rita? Ham and cheese and wheat and a cup of coffee, please. Stella?
Stephen. I have my own, thank you. Thank you.
I heard about your brother, Stella. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I was at the Schuster's when you arrived. How's your mother bearing up?
Please.
I didn't mean to offend you.
You didn't offend me, Stephen. It's just that if other people had cared more for Joey when he was alive, there wouldn't be so much to be sorry about now. It's ironic, isn't it? 2 housekeeper's sons. One went to Harvard and came home respectable. The other never went any place at all.
But we have the same birthright, Stella.
Oh, yes, of course. So that if there's any little thing you can do for me, just call on you. Is that it?
I didn't think it would sound like that, but yes, I'd like to help if I can.
Isn't that what they call a conflict of interest? Your sympathy with your humble beginnings versus your new place in the sun?
I haven't felt much sunshine yet.
But you're riding the right coattails, Stephen. Theodore Dowell is the Harrington attorney, isn't he? The Harrington and Peyton attorney?
Yes.
Well, don't worry. They take care of their own.
Your prescription is ready, Miss Charney.
Stella?
Better eat your sandwich, Stephen. Might do something for that lean and hungry look.
I was wondering if maybe you might recommend some book Rita might like.
Well, surely, yeah. What sort of book are you interested in? What subject?
Well, something to keep up her interest over the summer. Maybe, what is she studying?
Well, how about short stories? That's a good idea. Let's take a look.
I meant to come and thank you a long time ago.
What on earth for?
For talking to Rita.
She told you.
She doesn't tell me much, but I was in Dr. Rossi's office that day, and I saw you and her in the square. She's been much happier.
I'm glad.
I'm grateful to you.
I don't deserve any credit?
You must. Whatever you said, she listened to you. You know, it's a funny thing, but when she was a kid, she listened to everybody. Why, a guy'd come into the bar, and she'd start asking you questions. She had the fellows telling her all about whaling and China and the coral reefs off the West Indies. Real curious. She even listened to me sometimes. She's more choosy now. She gets fixes on people. And to her, Allison's perfect. She thinks Allison can talk to you, so she'll talk to you.
Well, it's always easier to talk to someone who's not your parent. Even for Allison.
But Allison's never done stupid things she couldn't tell you about.
Oh, I don't know. One summer before a band concert, she took a bucket of bullfrogs and put them in the bass drum. Now, I had to read about that in the Clarion.
How old was she?
Oh, about 13. Her partner in crime was all of 14. Norman Harrington.
What do you do when it's too late to try and talk to them?
It's never too late.
With Rita it is, for me. Look, if she comes to you again, tell her to be careful. I don't want her hurt anymore. I should have stopped her when she was going with Joe and that whole crowd, but I didn't. I didn't think it would matter then. I thought she could learn the hard way. Morals, people, everything. I didn't have the time. Now I can't stop her from hurting herself. I can't get her to stay out of it.
Stay out of what?
I'll be seeing you this Thursday.
I'll only be a minute. Wait. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm interested in Kenner's book on Samuel Beckett's contribution to the avant-garde theater movement.
Why don't you look in those shelves over there?
Well, thank you.
Just a minute, we'll have coffee.
I've got to get back. If Rita does come to you again, would you tell me?